April 12, 1981. A 14-year-old girl returns to her family's cabin in Keddie, California, and discovers the bloody aftermath of a brutal quadruple murder. 4 people lay bound and butchered in the living room. 1 was missing. What happened in this remote mountain town would haunt investigators for over 4 decades. Welcome to the channel. In 1979, Glenna Sue Sharp fled Connecticut with her 5 children, escaping an abusive marriage. The former school bus driver settled in Keddie, a dying railroad town in the Sierra Nevada mountains. She rented cabin #28, previously occupied by the county sheriff. Life was finally stabilizing for Sue and her kids, even if the isolation made her uneasy. Why did Sue Sharp flee everything she knew for a town so remote most Americans had never heard its name? On April 11th, Sue drove her son John and his friend Dana Wingate home after picking them up hitchhiking. That evening, Sheila, the eldest daughter, went to sleep at the neighboring cabin. Tina, only 12, returned home around 9:30 p.m. to watch television. A couple in a nearby cabin would later report hearing muffled screams at 1:15 a.m. Something terrible was happening in cabin #28 while the world slept. At approximately 10 o'clock a.m. on April 12th, Sheila returned to cabin #28 and discovered the bloody aftermath. Sue, John, and Dana lay bound and murdered in the living room. 3 younger children in an adjacent bedroom had heard nothing. Tina was gone. The scene revealed unimaginable brutality. Who could do this and why? Sue had been stabbed in the chest and throat. John and Dana suffered massive blunt force trauma. All 3 were bound with medical tape and electrical cords. A bloodied hammer lay nearby. The killer or killers had spent significant time at the scene. How could 4 people be murdered in one room while 3 children slept unharmed just feet away? Sheila Sharp, just 14, made the horrific discovery that morning. Her younger brothers Rick and Greg, along with their friend Justin Smart, had been in the house but survived unharmed. Justin, the stepson of a neighbor who would become the prime suspect, provided conflicting accounts. His story changed under hypnosis. What did Justin Smart see that night, and why did his account keep shifting? Martin Smart, Justin's stepfather and neighbor, became the primary suspect almost immediately. He claimed a claw hammer had mysteriously vanished from his workshop. The night of the murders, he told his wife he was going to Reno, but investigators found no record of him leaving. A green van was seen at the Sharp home. Why did Martin Smart lie about his whereabouts that night? In 2016, investigators uncovered a letter Smart had sent to his wife from Reno shortly after the murders. The chilling words read, "I've paid the price of your love, and now I've bought it with 4 people's lives." Pause. Think about that. A counselor later testified that Smart admitted to killing Sue and Tina, claiming he had nothing to do with the boys. Why did investigators ignore these confessions for decades? Counselor's testimony should have been enough to build a case, yet it was never admitted as evidence. Special investigator Mike Gamberg, who re-examined the case decades later, was scathing. You could take someone just coming out of the academy, and they'd have done a better job than the original investigators. How did the initial investigation fail so spectacularly? Tina Sharp remained missing for 3 years. On the 3rd anniversary of the murders, April 11, 1984, a bottle collector discovered her skull and bones at Camp 18, nearly 62 miles from Keddie. She had been killed to silence her, likely because she witnessed something. Who disposed of her body so far away, and why did no one see anything? Shortly after announcing Tina's remains had been found, the sheriff's office received an anonymous call identifying the remains. The call was never documented. The tape was found at the bottom of an evidence box decades later. Who made that call on the anniversary of the murders, and what else did they know that was never written down? Based on Justin's accounts under hypnosis, police released composite sketches of 2 suspects. The decision to use an untrained volunteer artist instead of FBI experts has been criticized ever since. Both men wore gold-framed sunglasses. One stood nearly 6 feet 2 inches tall with dark blonde hair. The other was shorter with black greased hair. Were these sketches accurate or products of a traumatized child's imagination? Investigators also examined John Baubed, who was in the same neighboring cabin as Smart that night. Baubed allegedly had ties to organized crime in Chicago. He died in 1988, taking secrets to his grave. Did the Keddie murders involve more than just a neighbor's rage? What brought Chicago organized crime to a remote California mountain town in 1981? In 2018, investigators announced a major breakthrough. DNA evidence recovered from a piece of tape at the crime scene matched that of a living suspect. After 40 years, science finally provided answers the original investigation had failed to find. The match brought new hope. Who is this living suspect, and will DNA finally bring justice after 4 decades? Cabin 28 was demolished in 2004, erasing the physical crime scene. 6 suspects were examined in 2016. With the 2018 DNA announcement, investigators say they are closer than ever. But the question remains, will anyone ever be charged? After 44 years, will the Keddie Cabin murders ever be solved? Sheila Sharp, who discovered her family's murders at 14, has spent 44 years searching for answers. Her mother Sue, her brother John, her sister Tina, and Dana Wingate were taken by brutal violence in a cabin in the woods. The killer walked away. Multiple suspects, confessions, DNA evidence, and still no justice. The ghosts of Keddie still wait. The Keddie Cabin murders remain one of California's most frustrating cold cases. 4 lives taken, 4 decades of silence. If you have information about this case, contact the Plumas County Sheriff's Office. Subscribe for more cold case investigations and follow along as we continue seeking justice for the forgotten victims. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.